Welcome back, everyone, to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. Rick Goldrin, the former mayor of Burlington, just told us a little bit about the qualities that he thinks it takes to make a good mayor. And one of them we talked about was having some substance and having some business experience. And so that's obviously why I think I would make a good mayor. I think I've got 40 years of very high quality business experience. I don't sit on council, but I do have a fair amount of civic involvement. So let me address that first of all. I was co-chair and co-founder of something called the Mississauga City Summit at the request of Mayor Hazel McCallion. I served with Shelley White, then the CEO of the Peel United Way, who was a wonderful individual and well knowledgeable in the social service sector. I brought a fair amount of business knowledge and transit and infrastructure knowledge to the role. And we co-chaired that for 7 years. We launched as well the Western GTA Summit, which included other cities in the Western GTA. And I think it was a great opportunity to really explore, the themes of waterfront development, post-secondary development, social services development, transit development. And we typified it in the end with how are we going to move, live, and thrive in the future. It was a wonderful experience. I also was president of the Mississauga Arts Council. I was on the board for 7 years and president for 2 years, and really delved into, why and how the arts and culture, festivals, et cetera, really become the heart of a city. I've been on the Toronto Star Community Editorial Board. I've been very involved in politics. Hazel McCallion asked me to run her last campaign, and we got involved in working on a couple of different council races at the same time because she wanted to assure that the right council was there during her last 4-year tenure as mayor. And so I've been very involved in civic activities, helping out someone else from a federal and municipal standpoint in the past. But I have spent most of my career in business. I've got a Harvard MBA. I had an incredible experience going down to Harvard and competing with and working with and collaborating with some of the smartest people I've ever had the privilege of meeting from around the world. It was an incredible experience, one of the best experiences of my life. My first job after that was working for the Walt Disney Company in Los Angeles, and I was part of a strategic planning corporate development department that really set the strategy for what Disney was all about. And one of my first projects was thinking about how we're going to develop all the land that we had, both in Southern California as well as, more importantly, in Central Florida. And I traveled all around North America looking at master plan communities. And I got a real education in city planning, town planning, retail development, et cetera. And I was part of a group that got Downtown Disney going and Pleasure Island, all the hotel development, American Wilderness Tours, and took a look at really what made amusement parks successful. And just an amusement park itself is not, but when you combine it together with other activities, and then you have a beautiful urban environment with retail, with shops, with water, with excitement, with streetscape, you end up having people want to stay for a long period of time. And that was an incredible experience. I spent 7 years with the Molson companies through a whole bunch of different finance functions. And in that tenure, I was responsible for being the financial person backing up the financing of and construction of the Molson Center and now the Bell Center in downtown Montreal, and getting the rezoning of that whole area so that we could build, so that the Molson and subsequent owners could build 5 towers and a big retail area and really almost create a new downtown for Montreal. I worked for Jim Pattison, a $9 billion billionaire in Vancouver, and a conglomerate, and got involved in Western Canadian activities and U.S. activities. It was really an incredible experience working for one of the smartest men that I've had the privilege of working for. I worked for Eugene Melnick at BioVel and other companies on and off for 20 years. A fascinating, very successful entrepreneur. BioVel was the largest pharmaceutical company in Canada at the time. We ended up also buying the Ottawa Senators hockey team. I did all of the negotiations and the financing of that. He got to sign the check, but I got to do all the balance of the work. And then later on, got involved in the negotiation with the National Capital Commission, the City of Ottawa, the Province of Ontario, in trying to put together a plan to build a brand new downtown for Ottawa. and move the arena from Western Ottawa, Canada down to downtown. I negotiated a tax increment financing deal such that it would finance all of the infrastructure, half the cost of the arena. I negotiated land, environmental, zoning, all the different gamuts of goes into a major development, and spent a lot of time with architects, development planners, etc., about what would make a vibrant, beautiful downtown. I worked as well for a large property management company. I'm currently the chief operating officer. It's $2.5 billion of assets under management, 10.5 million square feet, operating in 6 different provinces across Canada, 3 states in the United States. I've negotiated with city councils in numerous different jurisdictions. I've done planning. I've done interactions with architects and lawyers and planners, really thinking through what makes a great development and what makes a great urban environment, what makes a great city. I've got the business experience that I think it takes to be a senior executive of a major corporation or a major city. And I think Mississauga is a major city. It's 5,000 people. It's over $1 billion in revenue. And I think that it has lost its way. And I've mentioned that in a lot of my other talks, radio shows, debate, performances, etc. Because I fear that we've let the budget get out of control. We've misrepresented tax increases. We're saying it's going up by modest 2.3% when it's actually going up by 6.4%. We have allowed red tape, regulation, and delays to sort of subsume us and just take over the process, such that, it was called bunk when I said that cities could radically reduce the approval time period. They've just got so wedded to their current existence. They don't understand that efficiency, reduction of red tape, being mindful to the economic realities that business people face, where if you take 7 years to approve something, the land with interest and fees and everything else has doubled in cost, such that it becomes uneconomic to proceed. I think that we've lost a vision. And in business, if you don't have a brand and a vision and a tagline and think about where you're going, you don't know how to get there. And I think in Mississauga, under Mayor Hazel McCallion, we had this vision. We wanted to create a downtown. We had Downtown 21 as an aspiration. She wanted to create a cultural center, a living arts center. She wanted to create a sports center. She had the Hershey Center. I don't know if we've done anything of significance of late. And I'm going to be talking about some of the visioning ideas that I've got in some subsequent shows and posts. But I think that a good leader has to take care of the block and tackle things in regards to budgets and expenses and making sure that we've got the right revenue tools. In cities, it's commercial tax base and it's a growing property tax base. But then also sets the target for where we want to go and how we want to achieve it, the vision. And I don't think we've got one right now. And I don't think we've had one for a while. So I think I've got the business experience, I've got the civic experience, I've got the leadership skills, and I've got the vision. So when you're thinking about who you want to elect for mayor, consider that you've got 4 people that are running that are existing city councilors. And if they haven't been able to do it in 30 years or a couple of terms, why would you give them more time to do it? Because they have proven that they can't do it so far. Take a risk. Why don't you put in a business person? As Rick Goldring said, Brian Mulroney came from the outside. I think was an excellent prime minister. I think that Paul Martin came in from the outside and he was an excellent finance minister. A lot of people forget that Hazel McCallion was a business person until she was in her 50s before she first ran for politics. I think I've got the skills that it takes to make a very good mayor. Please consider voting for Brian Crombie on June the 10th. Check me out at briancrombie.ca. Good night, everybody.